The reason why you don't invest, you don't save, you don't do anything like that is you have no respect for your future self. So I want to talk about that. Yeah, I've been working on Duolingo and I'm at like 700, wow, 600 and some days, 650 days. And it sucks. Everybody around me, there's a couple of people that I am friends with that are still on it. And um, when I'm actually doing it, I do it the full lesson every day. I'm trying to learn Italian, and the whole process is pretty rough. It's not easy to learn something new, to actually invest in yourself at any given day. And it's taking away from me today. There's nothing about this that actually, I mean, maybe I get some sense of accomplishment every day, but not as much as what I'm thinking about is my future self. And this future self is going to reap the benefits of everything that I've actually done. And so what I'm trying to do is actually pay the favor forward every day to this other person that I kind of know, but I kind of really don't know. And I think almost all investment decisions that we work on, whether it's investing and figuring out how to actually properly invest. And by the way, it's super easy. You just invest in good mutual funds and you put money in index funds. In fact, you could just put all your money in index funds. That's just a basket of all the different companies in the stock market. There's reasons for this, but that is the state of the art for the last 30 years. Um, but, and that's why I say it's super easy. You just have to do 15% of everything that you ever make in that pattern. But that's the thing, that 15%, when I say that, sounds easy. All of this sounds so easy. But you honestly have to have respect for yourself to be able to do this, your future self, where you actually take a pause and you say, I'm going to live strangely. I'm going to be weird. I'm not going to fit in at this given moment. I'm going to look like, you know, the Beverly Hillbillies or wherever you want to say a little bit longer. I'm going to just not fit in with culture because I'm going to do something that it is difficult to actually do and is taking away from me today. And you also have to sign up about this future self is buy into the notion that this future self is important, but also accept this future self is going to be very different than you. So it's removing the notion that you're always going to be the same person, the same way, the same identity going forward. And for most people, including myself, that is a challenging thing to deal with, where we have to accept that, yeah, I'm not quite there today. And in the future, I'm going to respect this person and say, you know what? They're going to have to deal with things that are far more important than I have to deal with. So I'm going to give them resources to be able to deal with that. And when you start thinking about this way, as it's really just a respect problem of future you, when you think about financial investing, all of a sudden everything really changes in your mind because you're thinking to yourself, wow, I am not respecting who I am or who I'm going to be in any sort of way. And this goes for any investment that you do. And I consider anything that sucks today, like when you're doing it, as an investment because you think that there's going to be some payoff in the future. This means getting an education. This means getting exercise. This means going to the doctor or brushing your teeth or, um, not watching too much television or giving yourself downtime to watch television if you need it. And all of these things, it's all about respect for your future self. It's all about thinking about, I may not need this right now. And it's very difficult for me to actually do this at this moment because it requires me to mentally think about things that I don't want to think about. And it's challenging to now get out. But I'm going to invest in this person that I don't quite know. And I'm going to say, you go do something fantastic with this. Once you start thinking about investment decisions this way, a lot of your life actually changes. For me, I've thought about it for a long time. And when I was as a student, I thought about, I did engineering and then I did business. And I really thought about, how to do well. And it turns out it's extraordinarily simple. The answer is extraordinarily simple when you start boiling it down. We don't know too many fancy tricks. It's like just doing the index fund thing, taking care of yourself, making sure that you don't, taking care of investing in your family and doing things like that. It's making sure that you spend time if you have a spouse or a partner or you're dating somebody, making sure that you have time for them. Things that when they're not doing well, like things like this, that is the financial recipe. That is that is what it actually takes. None of it is like super difficult. None of it is tricky in any sort of way, but it is tricky because you have to have enough respect for your future self to do all of these things that are often very challenging and conflicting with each other, right? I often think about this. I like my natural tendency is to sit down and actually work a lot, but I push back on it so much, to spend time with my family, to spend time in their homework, doing things like this that it it is and it's a chore for me. It often is because I feel so much guilt when I'm not actually working on my own stuff. And so I push back on this because I know it's healthy to have a stable family. I know it's healthy, and I've been there before many times to you know to have make time for your wife or my wife and do those kind of things like that. It's so important to do these things, and it's such an important part of financial investing, I think, that we do ourselves a disservice whenever we don't think about our future self. I'm trying to set out my future self to try to figure out, okay, I'm going to spend some time to think about, how each individual person is operating and what they're thinking, which sometimes means like they're not going to tell you, but you might actually have to read books about different things, um, or listen to different things to get some understanding. But all of those things pay off in the long run. And it requires you to just have a tremendous amount of respect for that person in the future so that you can do well at some point in the future. And you'll never know that person um, at this moment, but you have to bet on that person knowing that they will do well with your bet. All right, take care and have a wonderful day.